1988, two little-known comedians named Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David met with NBC executives to pitch their idea for a pilot. It would be a sitcom about nothing.
Who's on the...
It's damn good. Seinfeld has gone on to become one of the most successful series in television history. After 7 seasons, David left the show in 1996. But last December, when Seinfeld announced his decision to retire, Jerry Seinfeld, asked David to return to write the final episode. It will appear on May 14th before an expected audience of some 75 million plus people. I am very pleased to have him join us right here on this screen, Mr. Larry David. Let's go back to the creation of the show. Okay. How much was it like what we just saw? You're going to go in there and you're going to pitch them something about nothing.
We never actually used that expression, nothing. That only came up in that episode, and it really caught on.
It did.
No, we initially were pitching a show about how a comedian gets his material. So we would follow a comedian around in his daily life. We'd go from the grocery store to the dry cleaner, maybe he'd go on a date, he'd hang out with his friends, and then at the end of the show he would do a monologue, and incorporated into the monologue would be some of the things that we saw happen on the show. That's ostensibly where the comedian got the material. And that's what was pitched to NBC. Yeah.
And NBC believed in the show, so they said we're committing to 4 episodes.
Yes. Yeah. Right. 4 episodes.
Normally it's 13 or 8 or something.
Yes, at least. Yeah. So we didn't really think that they had too much confidence in the show.
Was it a hit? Did you feel good about it from the beginning?
I felt good, just the fact that the 4 episodes were produced, because I had never produced 4 episodes before, and frankly, I didn't know that I was capable of doing that. So just the fact that we had 4 shows on the air made me very excited. Well, I didn't think about the future. I thought, phew, I got by. I did the 4. Okay, let's go back to New York. Let's get on with our lives.
This is the reason I like you so much. Now, the story goes that you said, when they wanted more, you said, more, I can't do more. I've given you everything I have in these 4 episodes.
Well, you know, I didn't say it out loud, but I said it to my close personal friends.
Like Jerry.
Like Jerry, yeah. Yeah, you know, I said, look, I gave you the 4 things that happened to me in my life. What else could I possibly do?
No.
So then I had to actually come up with ideas like a regular writer. And then we were doing 13 episodes. I had to do 13 episodes. I almost started crying from the fear.
Why did you leave?
Well, Charlie,
don't do this to me.
What happened?
See, I knew you were going to do this.
You see, I was feeling that I needed to. No, I had been there for 7 years, and that's a long time to suffer the way I do in my daily life. And 7 years is a long time for somebody to executive produce a show like that.
Did you burn out?
No, it wasn't burnout. I had plenty of ideas. It wasn't that. It was.
Oh yeah.
Huh? I was learning how to do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. I just thought that I felt like I was ready to do. I felt I had done that, and now I wanted to try something else. And that's pretty much it.
Do you regret it? Leaving?
No. Which I know sounds strange because I'm the kind of person who's regretted most things in his life. I'll regret this interview, believe me.
I know. I can just see somebody's going to come up to you and say, I enjoyed you with Charlie Rose, right. And you're going to say, oh, God.
Yeah, please don't bring that up. No, I don't. No, I don't regret it. I missed it. I missed everybody.
And you were a little sensitive to the fact that they went just fine without you.
You know, Jerry says it's like, do you want your ex-girlfriend to be happy? You know, so I wanted her to be happy, but not too happy.
Yes. Yeah. So you went off to do whatever you were going to do.
Right.
And the show went forward. This was the end of the 95th season, 1995 season.
No, end of '96.
96.
Yeah, March. The end of March '96. Yeah.
And it went on.
Yes.
Did you ever think about coming back?
The thought crossed my mind from time to time, but not really. I was kind of busy with doing what I was doing. So, and they had a whole new way of working and everything. It would have been awkward.
You and Jerry equal partners?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is your baby. I mean, even if you weren't there, it's your baby.
Yes.
You created this
Yes.
baby.
Yes.
You're one half of the parentage of this baby.
Right. A very handsome baby at that.
So it comes to the final episode, and Jerry and you say, look, if we do this in final episode, we want you to... What's the task? What's the challenge for a final episode?
The challenge is that, first of all, everybody has it in their head what they think this show should be. When people sit down to watch a regular episode on Thursday night, nobody's thinking of a plot in advance of what should happen. But on this particular show, everybody has their own scenario going. So you have to top their scenario. Not only do you have to top their scenario, you have to come up with something that really brings some closure to the entire series. So it was a daunting prospect.
It is said, now I know, and I'm not trying to play this game with you, try to find out and have you give me something that'll make news, make me look like a big deal, because you'll disclose something here that you haven't talked. I'm not trying to do that.
You are such a big deal, you don't have to look like a big deal.
I'm not trying to do that. You got it. It is said that there are 5 separate endings. True?
No. No.
Not true.
No.
That's news right there.
Yeah. No, there are 2 endings.
2.
Yeah.
And it is said that the final decision on how to make it end in the end won't be made until a week before the broadcast. Has it already been made? Is it in the can? Is there nothing else to do?
No, it's already been made.
It has.
Yeah. Yes, it has.
Do you feel good about it?
I feel very good about it, and it's nice to feel good about something.
All right,
now I see how other people feel during the day.
They feel good?
I take that feeling of feeling good about the final episode, and when I talk to people and I see them feeling good, I can compare my feeling with theirs, whereas ordinarily I can't do that. I just look at them and go, why are they feeling good?
So all this story about you suffering
Yes.
is true.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. That's how I was born.
It goes that far back, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Suffering always. Never believing it could be this good. Never believing you could keep it. Never believing that it was going to happen to you.
Yeah, I suppose that's true in some way.
The last episode, you want to tie the ends together, right? Or you have tied the ends together. You have dotted the I's and crossed the T's, and you have given it a finality.
I've tried to. Yeah.
Compare it to all the other Seinfelds.
Well, it has the magnitude and the scope of a final episode. It's not a typical episode. It's a finale.
What steps did you go to make sure? Because no one is, so far, it hasn't leaked out what it's about, anything. What did you have to do to make sure you had that confidentiality?
You know, everybody who came to see the show had to sign a letter.
Saying that we'll cut off your...
Right, right. Everybody who worked on the show signed something. Jerry talked to everyone. I reiterated what he said to the audience, and people just are really respecting it, and I'm so happy about it, because I really think people will enjoy the show so much more if they really don't know what it's about. You'll still enjoy it if you knew the story, but it's just better to come at it fresh.
I agree. Tell me about Jerry and the Jerry that you know and what it is.
There's more. I thought this. I really thought you were wrapping up. I was going, hey, that's not
I've
bad.
done so far.
Yeah.
No, tell me about it. I mean, you know this guy as well as anybody. You worked with him. You created with him. As you say, you were on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Did you watch the show, Seinfeld?
Yes, I do.
There you go.
That's it? That's all I need to know?
That's all you need to know. You watch the show Seinfeld?
Yes.
Did you watch George?
Yes.
There you go. That's all you need to know about me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you're like a painter who says, Picasso used to say, look, everything you need to know about me is right here in this painting. Every music, I've had composers come here and say, everything you need to know about me is in that music.
I'm very much like Picasso in many ways. My proclivity for sex, certainly. My output. We have a lot in common, me and Picky Picasso.
You and Pablo.
Yeah, me and Pablo, yeah. No, Jerry's he's a tremendous guy. I'll give you the.
He's a tremendous guy.
I'll give
This
you the
question, what's
I'll give you
Jerry
the
like? He's a
quintessential.
tremendous
I'll give you
guy.
the quintessential Seinfeld story. Okay.
There we're going somewhere.
Yeah, when it was about our third or fourth season on the show, I was in a room talking to a few of the writers, and I looked at one of the writers' shirts, and there was just something a little off about the shirt. It was sort of, it was in a bit of a diagonal going down. And I said, has Jerry seen that shirt, you know? And he said, no. And I said, I'll bet you he comments on that shirt within 10 seconds after he sees you, you know? And he said, you got to bet. We bet $10. It may have even been $20. I said, okay, all right. And I'm just about to leave the room, and here he comes. He comes walking in, and I hang out at the doorway, and he didn't even make eye contact with the guy. And he's talking to somebody else, and all of a sudden he turns, and he says something to him, and he goes, what's the story with that shirt?
You know your guy.
Yeah.
And you think alike. And he knows the same thing about you.
Yeah.
Have you two ever talked about this notion of, it is said that for Jerry, the show was fun. Mm-hmm. For you, doing the show was suffering.
You know, I also had a lot of fun too. The most fun I had was actually the actual writing of it, the writing that we did together. Those were great times.
The final episode, you went away and wrote it.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah. Well, I had the time. I mean, he was really busy with the show, so I think he was somewhat relieved that I had the time to do that because they were swamped with work. Yeah, so, and an episode like this, you know, you needed some time to write. I think it would have been a bad situation if I had gone into if I had finished writing episode 21 and all of a sudden here was the finale upon us with 5 days to write, it would have been impossible. So fortunately, I could take my time and do it.
You look back on the Seinfeld years, and what do you think about most?
What do I think about see, I think now you got me. I was doing well until this moment. I really was. I think I'll actually think about the writing, writing the shows, working with Jerry, the writing process, how much fun we had doing that, the collaboration. I think that's what stands out in my mind the most.
Congratulations. It's a classic. You know, you created something that touched a lot of people. Congratulations.
Thank you, Charlie.
Larry David, creator of Seinfeld, will be right back. Stay with us.